Hey folks, today is May 2nd, 2026, and we're going to do a lima bean experiment. I've never grown lima beans. I just started eating them probably about 2 months ago. I started buying dried from Aldi in 2-pound bags because they just all of a sudden had them one day, and I'm like, yeah, what the hey, I'll try these. Because I cook all of my dried beans from, or my beans from dried, and I just thought today, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and see if we can germinate some of these. I have germinated store-bought seeds before like that in the past. Why not give it a shot with the lima beans to see how they grow? So yeah, let me take you inside. We'll show you the little setup that I got going in the kitchen as far as what we're looking at. Then we'll go ahead and get some compost. We'll get these things loaded up and let's go adventure, folks. So from Aldi, we bought a 2-pound bag of large lima beans. I'm going to use this bag to reload our home stock, but what I'm doing in the meantime is I pulled out 32 beans. I'm going to put those in an 804 tray, and that tray is going to have probably sifted compost from the chicken run, something like that. Nothing fancy, but I just want to see if I can get them to germinate and grow these things out. And I put them on the scale because I was curious to know the weight. 52 grams, which is actually about a serving of beans for me. I'm curious to know what my conversion is on these particular beans. I have no idea if they're going to be a bush bean or a pole bean. I'm probably not going to bother trellising them up. I'm just going to let them run to see what they do. But first thing first, let's see if we can get these things to germinate. So on the eastern edge of my chicken run, it slopes west to east, and I have a hardware cloth across the bottom of my run, and the wood chip I've put into the run over the last few years has broken down, and it sort of sifts through. So as you can see, as it does that, we've got some pretty decomposed material there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop a ton of this stuff up. I'm going to go ahead and run it through my 1/4-inch sieve, my sifter that I have in the barn, just to get some of these leaves out because we have willow oak over top of us. And I'll mix it with a little bit of perlite just so it drains a little better, but I'm going to call that my potting mix for this job. Okay, so I got the material sifted here. I'm going to add probably a scoop of some size of perlite to this just to loosen it up, because I think if this gets really nice and damp, it's going to get rather heavy. Since it's a sieve to about a 1/4 inch, I just don't think it's going to have a whole lot of airspace in it for the beans to sort of breathe as they germinate. So we're going to loosen it up with some perlite. I'm going to take that outside and throw some water on it. I've got to imagine today's May 2nd, even though we got a bit of a cold spell coming up. Well, kind of in one right now. It's 59 degrees today on the high, apparently. I've got to imagine that these will germinate within the next 2 weeks. So we'll pick this up then. I'll get these things watered in now, and we'll go ahead and pick this up in a couple of weeks to look at our germination. So sit tight. Hey folks, May 16th, 2026, and we are going to continue our lima bean experiment. Let's go to the greenhouse and take a look how they are showing, because I'm going to put some in the ground now. Here they are. It looks like we got germination on about 20 of them. Some may still join the party. I think even this guy I'll go ahead and put in the ground. He's a little small guy, but that makes 20. So I'm going to do 2 rows of 10 and answer the question that you and I both have, or at least I have. No, I have no idea if I'm going to trellis them or how I'm going to. I'm hoping they're a bush style bean, so I don't have to do that, but jury's out on whether they are or not, because they came out of a package of food grade beans. And although I have no idea about the trellising situation, I've got an idea of spacing. I'll probably go 4 to 6 inches, give or take. And I know in the garden where I want to put them, though I just kind of bit myself yesterday because I installed a tomato on the north side of a bed that I was originally thinking about these guys for, and then I totally forgot about it. So they're gonna go to the south of him. If they get too tall, they might shade him out a bit, but you know, northern hemisphere, sun east to west, the beds run north to south. The tomato is gonna get more than enough direct sun. And frankly, if I do have to trellis these up and they grow tall-ish, maybe that gives him a little bit of protection from the south side with the sun. Maybe. That's probably not gonna be a bad thing for him because we get really hot here and tomatoes get sun scalded really easily. So yeah, I think these aren't gonna be too badly placed next to him. Let's put these down and show you what we're looking at. So there's the garden gate. When I do a tour, we walk up and around and around and around, and this is the north section. These are the elderberries. This is where the lima beans are gonna go. That's where the Aunt Ruby's German green tomato I just alluded to is. So I'm thinking 2 rows right here. Got some lettuce there that I'm hoping takes off a little bit more. Some more up there. That was put in a little later, had some seed starting issues. And now we're coming into 90-degree days before we get a bit of a reprieve from that. We just had a 43-degree day morning yesterday morning, where I was out here watering and losing feeling in my fingers, and now tomorrow we're gonna start a stretch of 90s. So yeah, story of my spring. But yeah, these are where they're gonna go. So let me get a watering can. I'm gonna get a bucket of compost, just a top dress around these once I put them in, and my hory. So sit tight. So we actually had 21, not 20. One little guy was germinating that I didn't see. And I kind of ran out of room there, if you saw. I had my 2 rows of 9, 10, I didn't want to get that close to the tomato. So I put 3 down the middle with wider spacing in between those, sort of at a hexagon pattern versus the ones, or diamond pattern versus the ones on the outside. I think it's gonna work well enough. Like I said, the biggest question I've got is what's gonna happen if they are pole beans and not bush beans? So I'll keep an eye on the growth pattern over the coming 3 weeks and see what's going on. And then I'll try to do some sort of triage for a trellis if it looks like I need it. But in the meantime, I think we're in good shape, and I'm really curious to see what kind of yields we get. And I honestly don't think I've ever had a butter bean or a lima bean fresh from a pod after it started really swelling out. I've only had them cooked from dried as I've been doing inside in my Instant Pot. And that's and since I started eating my black-eyed peas and my soybeans last year, I let the pods swell out, I popped them out of there, and then I cooked them kind of from fresh as a legume. I wanted to try the same thing with the lima beans. So yeah, it'll be an interesting experiment going forward, and I will take you along for the journey. And yeah, until next time, thanks for watching. Take care.